often meet a lot of people in our life, and not everyone is as same as you are, because we have that the difference in nature, personality, thinking, mindset and mentality. So there's just so many variation in it, and you cannot say that if I'll be good to someone else, if I'll be very kind to someone else, the another human being should also be like me. It is one of the biggest scam mindset according to me, because I do believe that if you'll be good to someone else and that person will not resonate with the energy that you are putting in that conversation, or in that in that get together or whatever, because when we have people around us, they have their own energy and ours will be own. So it's not necessarily important that the another person will always be like you. That's why it's very important to stop being a people pleaser, means to always resonate or try to match the energy of another person. Might be that the person you are trying to fit into with will not be on the same page that you are, or they might be not on the same energy that you are having. Means even if you lower your standards to their level, they will drag you down to their level, because we have to know that where we stand and where the another person. But in the process, most of the time we make ourselves so available, or we just lower our standards too much that we start resonating with their energy, and that isn't a good thing at all. That is why being a mentally strong person is important for all of us, especially the generation Z and Alpha and the millennials as well, because it's important to understand that after each passing years, people are changing, technologies are changing, and everything is going on a different level, and it will be on the different level in the coming years. And how can we say that we have to resonate ourselves into the same direction? People are changing, evolving, and there are so many changes are occurring every day, and in the coming years people will be very different. So that's why the coping method to deal with people should also be different. That is why being a female, we have to have that strong mentality, and this applicable for men as well, because being a human being, we all have that same potential for being with people. So we have to understand ourselves first, because if you're not happy, if you're not comfortable with your own self, with the energy level that you are having, or the type of the person you are, if you are knowing yourself, how can you imagine the another person to know you? Means I am explaining over here is that if you don't know yourself, people will tell you, and what, they don't have much things to tell to you, because everyone is just wondering and thinking about their own self. They always ready to start a story, to tell you a story about their own self, rather than knowing that what you are feeling or anything like that. But people are interested in knowing the facts, or stalking, want to know something about yourself. Means they are curious for other things, but not for what your feelings, because emotions are something that rarely people pay attention, because we all are struggling somewhere else, and that is very reality. And that is why being a strong person mentally is important in this generation. So we were talking about how can we improve our mentally. So here we are discussing about how can we be so mentally strong so that nothing can affect us. Means it's true that we feel emotion, and emotion affects us, thinking affects us, words affects us. But if you are having that assurance about your own self, means if your self-esteem will be high, you're less likely to feel bad for your own self. Because when you heal, healing is important, and healing is the process that is only required to be resonating on the high self-esteem. And if you aren't on the page of high self-esteem, you would not be able to sense things differently. Because when you are unhealed person, whenever somebody came to you and said something, you believe that. You don't need to hear the compliment from another human beings, or you don't need to be validated by them. If you are enough aware for your own things, it's not about, like, I'm not telling it to be narcissist, because it happens that most of the time narcissist people targets the empathetic people, because empathy or the compassionate people always tend to see people with their spectacles, with their lens, with their glasses, and their glasses tells them that everyone is like them, everyone is kind, everyone is so. But it is not. Narcissist always targets the innocent peoples, because they know that they are less likely to replace them. Because when you send someone else with a self-esteem low, you're more likely to have that grip of friendship on them, because you know that that person will be so emotionally vulnerable, so that it's easy for them to make another person feel good or bad. And most of the time, what I saw about empathetic people is that they tend to believe the narcissist people, because whatever they say, they think that, oh, this is something wrong with me, I did something wrong to someone else, it is happening because of me. But it is not like that. Nothing happens just because of someone else. And this guilt trap is something that we all should be aware of. Guilt trap. Most of the time, whenever you have an argument with another human being, whether despite of who they are, if the person tries to target you or guilt trap you, they always tend to say that this is something happened just because you did to me. You triggered me, so that's why I burst out. You said something that makes me angry. Just because of you, my temperature went too high. But it is nothing like that. You know that a civilized person will not taunt you or will blame you. And the moment when you know that this is called narcissism, a kind of a psychological disorder where people think that whatever is happening for another, whatever the bad is happening in the world or in the people's life, is just because of their own self, not because of that they did something wrong with them. And narcissists have some